Bum bum bum. Bum bum bum. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. Hey everybody, come on in. You know what time it is. It's time for Coffee with Scott Adams. I'm your host, Scott Adams, and you are the wonderful people who have joined me today. And I see you on the treadmill there. I see you on the beach. I see you going for your cup of coffee. Yeah, I can watch you filling your mug right now. So grab your mug, your cup, your glass, your stein, your chalice, your thermos. Lift it to your lips. I hope it's filled with your favorite beverage. I like coffee. And join me for the simultaneous sip. Yeah, you come for the humming, but you stay for the coffee. So I did a late night Periscope last night talking about the president's tweet in which he said, "Yes, Nancy Pelosi, I agree with you. We will wait until the government is reopened, and then I will do my State of the Union in the House chamber where it belongs." And people are saying, no, he caved in. Why doesn't he just go give his rally? As I explained last night, and I'll quickly reiterate, it would have been a good reason. It would have been a good strategy a week ago to maybe take the State of the Union to another place and have sort of a rally and get a lot of attention and have some fun. But as soon as the Covington Catholic schoolboy thing broke, it made the alternate State of the Union impossible. Why? Because the people who attended any alternate kind of State of the Union, assuming it was the public, would have worn MAGA hats. And the visual coming so quickly after the Democrats have successfully, and this is a compliment to their persuasion. You don't have to like it morally, you don't have to like it politically, but persuasion-wise, oh my God, the Democrats are killing it on this hat thing. So the Democrats have actually taken the most successful political symbol of all time, the best branded, best thought out, best constructed, perfect colors, perfect words for a political campaign, Make America Great Again with a hat. And the Democrats have successfully transferred that into a racist symbol. So racist, you're not allowed to wear it in public, apparently. Now, many of you will get very confused right now because you can't distinguish between what is your legal right to wear any hat you want, which is, of course, is unchanged, versus, what happens if you wear it, which is your physical risk, which is a separate question. Now, I'm seeing all the people getting really mad at me because I'm saying that other people say their hats are racist. You understand I'm not saying that? I'm talking about other people and you're swearing at me. People are telling me, F off with your saying that these hats are being called racist by other people. That's just what's happening. I didn't start it. It wasn't my idea. I don't think it's a good idea. But it happened, and you can't ignore it. Now, given that people have this bad feeling about the hats, it would have been terrible for the president to have a one-sided, only Trump-loving people come to a big rally, put on their hats, and then give the other side, shall we say, lots of fodder to say, look at them all wearing those hats. It's like a KKK convention. It's not like a KKK convention. I'm not saying that. I'm saying it would be easy for the Democrats to paint it that way. So, while it might have been a reasonably good idea to have a fun rally a week ago, now that the Covington thing happened and brought our attention to these hats, and the hats would be the whole story. If he did this brilliant speech, for the State of the Union offsite, if he did that, the only story would be, well, look at the hats. A lot of people wore hats. So it was a good move to not do it offsite, given that. That alone would have made it a good idea to wait. But the more interesting thing is that he just took the high ground. The high ground is the first person in the conversation who acts like an adult. most of the conversation is about, it's this little tit for tat stuff, Pelosi's canceling this because the president canceled that. It's tit for tat, it's small ball, it's the kids' table, and all that. The president just went full adult. Nobody saw that coming. Sort of a surprise move, in which, since Pelosi had completely abandoned the adult high ground in the conversation, she had essentially joined him in the tit for tat. But it left open the high ground. There was nobody up there. There were no prominent politicians who were saying, well, let's act like adults, at least of the people who had any power. A lot of the smaller Republicans were saying that, but they didn't really matter for this conversation. So the president took the high ground and said, I agree, I want to do it in the right place and the right time, and we'll wait until the government's open. So I was waiting to see how this was covered by the news. Now, in social media, of course, people just take sides and they say, your guy caved and Nancy Pelosi's slapping them around like a rag doll. So, of course, that's social media. But I was watching CNN coverage of how they are covering it. And I was watching, I think it was Poppy Harlow on CNN, interviewing Senator Collins, a Democrat. And she just made him twist. And I don't know that I've seen that before. So you probably noticed that there's a way that CNN will interview Republicans that seems different from how they'll interview Democrats. Generally, when they interview Democrats and people who agree with maybe what their own philosophy is, they'll ask a question, then they'll let the Democrat just say whatever the heck they want, their talking points, and then they say, all right, out of time to go. But she made him twist. Oh, Collins is a Republican? I may have the wrong person. But the point is that the attitude that CNN is taking toward this so far, of the first few people I saw, is tell me why Democrats can't accept a little bit of wall. No, I'm not talking about Susan Collins, so I may have the wrong guy. I'm talking about a gentleman. Let's see. I took a screenshot of it because it was so funny. I'll show you the screenshot. I was confused with the Chiron. So the Chiron was talking about Senator Collins, but that's not who was being interviewed. So she's interviewing some Democrat whose name I don't know. But I was looking at, you can't see her face very well, but she's got this look on her face. Oh, is that Jeffries? Thank you. All right, so ignore most of the fake news that I just reported. The Senator Collins thing is not part of the story. It is Jeffries, I guess. But anyway, the point of it is that she was asking him the tough questions, such as, well, if you were in favor of border security before, wouldn't you be a little flexible now? And she just kept, pushing on it. And so you're seeing that even CNN can't find a way to make this look good for Democrats. There's no way you can make it look good for Democrats anymore. And the president looks like he's the one who's made two productive moves. One is to stop fighting about the State of the Union thing. Productive move one. Two is to add variables about the DACA people. Of course, it's not what they want, but it opens it to negotiation. So that's still a move forward. It puts more stuff on the table. So the president now has two unambiguous statements of flexibility. Even though at one point he walked out of a meeting, but at the moment he's the only one who's shown some flexibility. It puts all of the pressure on Democrats now, and I expect you'll see them start eating their own. So that's the fun part to watch for. Now, I had also suggested in my last Periscope that there might be some other reason that the president is also willing to not do a State of the Union alternately. Because it would take a lot of work and planning, it would take a lot of resources just to put on, in short notice, to put on an alternate show of that size with security and locations and everything else. And, some of it maybe he just didn't know if he could fill a room. Maybe on short notice it's just tough to fill a room, although I suppose he could probably always fill a room. But I've speculated that maybe, just maybe, there's something else going on that we don't know about, something big. There might be something big that the president just needs to deal with, and he just doesn't need the State of the Union stuff getting in the way at the moment. So I'm speculating that there might be some big news coming. Now, and the possibilities are North Korea. All right, we're talking about the North Korea summit. It could be that we're having some pretty serious conversations that we haven't heard about yet, and that this the next summit might produce some news. And it makes me wonder, at what point would the Democrat opposition to the president be forced to admit that something good is happening in North Korea? Because up to now, they're like, oh, nothing's happened. Kim Jong-un got all this respect, and he's still building his nukes, and he got everything he wanted. The president just got played. But at what point, like if we were watching live footage of their nuclear program being dismantled and loaded onto ships and taken away, forever, at what point would the Democrats say, okay, that's something? Is there anything we could see that would make them say, yeah, okay, that worked? Or would they just say, no, I think Obama got the ball rolling and the president just happened to be lucky to be there? So watch that. The other thing that might be happening is, of course, you're watching the Venezuela situation, and I have to confess that I'm less informed about Venezuela than, even other topics which I'm uninformed on. But what I know is that, Maduro, their leader's a socialist dictator, and the country's going down the toilet fast, and there's a leader of the opposition who has declared himself the real president, and the United States and Canada, I guess, have said, yes, you are the real president, and we recognized him. Now, I guess Maduro told the U.S. diplomats to get out of the country, and I believe the United States response is, we're not getting out of the country. Now, let me ask you, you are less informed because you're rich and white. Okay. That's a comment here. I never know if it's impossible to tell when people are kidding anymore. Like sarcasm and reality look exactly the same. They've merged. But here's what to look for. If we keep our diplomats in Venezuela, number one, will we keep all of our diplomats in Venezuela? Now, I would think that's very unlikely. So whether or not we say we're keeping our diplomats there or not, common sense tells you that we're definitely going to but we're definitely going to move to safety some number of them that are not essential. So no matter what happens there, the non-essential people are definitely going to get out of the way. But if we decide to keep anybody there, are we kind of inviting military trouble? Meaning, the odds that our embassy gets attacked by some crowd of angry Maduro supporters seems pretty high, doesn't it? Seems pretty high. And what would happen if Americans in American territory, which would be the embassy within Venezuela, came under military attack? You see where this is going? The odds of the U.S. military entering Venezuela just went very high. Now, of course, we don't want to do it unless we really need to do it. But by keeping our people in the country, we've created, and I assume we've moved to safety the people who are not willing to take this kind of risk. But we've created a situation where we can move our military in there if we need to. Now, I don't think we would move our military in there unless we absolutely had to, and also unless the Venezuelan military was at least mostly on our side, the generals. And I don't know how likely that's going to be. But the question I ask you is there something big and military that we're at least getting ready for, whether or not we ever have to pull the trigger on it? And I'm guessing yes. I'm guessing that our military is probably sitting off the coast right now or on the way, just in case, just to protect the embassy, and that we would have enough firepower that we could move the needle over there politically if that ever had to happen. So Putin has assets in Venezuela. Yeah, so Venezuela is pro-Iran and pro-Cuba. The Cuba part matters less. But can you imagine that this president, President Trump, is willing to have a pro-Iran administration in South America? I don't think that's going to last. So I would expect there might be some big developments there, but we don't know. All right. What do we think? What else is happening? Oh, somebody said maybe what's going to happen is Israel will take out Hezbollah in Syria, but I just assume that's happening anyway, right? Isn't Israel picking off Hezbollah a little bit at a time? Everybody's saying that Ruth Bader Ginsburg, people are speculating that she has secretly passed away. I say there's no chance that we would not know if she really passed away. So I would stop worrying about that. Now, it's definitely a chance we could learn that she's failing, but there's no way she's already passed. I don't think that's true. Thoughts on green cards for DACA? I'm not an expert on all of the DACA green card visa situation. I'm not sure that I have anything to add to what would be the smart way to play that. Russia tells Israel no more random rocket whatever. I didn't know what that is. Your plumbing issues. Oh, yes. So the moment I got my extended plumbing problems, if you don't know the story, the short version is I had one plumbing problem after another that made it impossible to enjoy my house for weeks and weeks and weeks. And as soon as the water heater got fixed, a leak sprung in my warm floors. Now, warm floors are where some homes have pipes of, it's flexible piping, but pipes of water everywhere throughout the house and the floor, and then the heat from the water that's warmed up radiates into the house. Now the leak was not under the floor, so that's the good news. That would have been a disaster. The leak is in the manifold that's in the garage. So you just have to turn it off. It's no big deal. They'll come fix it. But once again, I was telling the story in real time how no matter what got fixed, a new thing broke at exactly the same time, and it broke at exactly the same time while the plumber was standing there. The other thing broke through no related purpose. They weren't even working on it. It wasn't something they even work on at all. They don't touch it at all. And the thing sprung a leak while he was standing there, amazingly. Scott, can you define masculinity? Well, I like to think I do define masculinity, if you know what I mean. But beyond that, no. How are my drumming lessons coming along? I'm actually going to do a Periscope on my drumming lessons in the context of online learning, which is partly why I'm doing it. And I might do that, what time is it? 7:21. I might do a special Periscope on that today or soon. And anyway, I've said enough for now. That's enough on this topic. If I come back on, it's going to be a special topic, and I will talk to you later. Bye.